watching Big Lou Barbecue and other things I want to do. And let me tell you what I got going on for you. Last Sunday, I did 5 gallons of jambalaya in my brand new 20 quart Cajun Classic Dutch oven. It's a flat bottom Dutch oven. Yeah, I've got a 5-gallon jambalaya pot that I made a big smoked chicken jambalaya in last spring. It's over here. It's also from Cajun Classic. And this technique's not a whole lot different. So if you saw that video, this is going to be kind of similar, except this is a pork jambalaya. I started with an 8-pound pork butt and I cut it up with my Big Lou Barbecue silver stag knife. All right, and I got it all cut up in little bite-sized pieces. All right, and then I cut up 2.5 pounds of Manda sausage. Manda's out of Baton Rouge, and I really like their sausage in jambalaya. You can use whatever kind you want. A lot of people use andouille. You can use a green onion sausage, is good in jambalaya. But whatever smoked sausage you can get your hands on, try to use a local, regional one to you if you want to. And you can't, see if you can get Manda. Manda's good stuff. Anyway, not sponsored by Manda. I just like it, all right? Anyway, use Manda, and then I used a pound of Tasso. Gotta have Tasso in jambalaya, all right? Especially when you're doing a fresh chicken or a fresh pork jambalaya that you hadn't smoked it before. Use Tasso, it gives it that smoky flavor, all right? So I cut up the Tasso, and in that video before, I used frozen Trinity. The Trinity in Louisiana is the celery, onions, bell peppers, you know? And, but this one, I cut them all up, all right? And ratio is about 2 ribs of celery, 1 bell pepper, and 1 medium-sized onion. All right, I cut it all up myself and actually threw in an extra onion. I'll tell you more about that later, all right? Anyway, and then we made the jambalaya. Now look, remember, I'm just a one-man show here. I'm a fella having fun with food, fire, and a phone camera in my backyard. And so I'm turning the camera on, I'm cooking, and sometimes I make a few mistakes. But hey, this is how it happened. All right, the pot is hot, cleaned, and well oiled, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this pork into the bottom there and brown it up. If some sausage falls in with it, okay. But I want to put the sausage in after the pork. All right. Come on out of here. So we want to get this all browned and show you what that looks like when it is. All right, I'm going to add some seasoning to this. I'm using Uncle Steve's spice here. It's similar to Cajun Creole seasoning, so it's not going to throw the flavors off a whole lot from a traditional jambalaya flavor. All right, I believe this to be brown. Now I'm going to set this lid over here upside down on this table by me. And I started using this roux paddle that I use in my discata. That's all I need for this pot because it's not as deep as the other one. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set that pork into this lid, on the top side of this lid, so I'll have it out of the way while we cook the sausage. All right, I got this pork out. It's over here on the lid, and I tilted off about half of that grease. Now we're gonna put the sausage in. Oops, there's a piece of pork that was left with the sausage, and there was a couple pieces of sausage with the pork, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna brown the sausage. Do the same thing, except I'm not gonna put the lid on it because my pork's in the lid. Now, if you're not familiar with jambalaya cooking, it should be done in a big cast iron pot. A lot of times they use the round bottom kettles like I have over there, which we call jambalaya pots around here, stew pots and some other places. But if it's a flat bottom or if it's a round bottom, you want as much as this sausage to make contact with that hot bottom, and you want it to start to sear down there and create some fond, because that fond is your flavor. All right, you can see that this sausage is browning pretty well, right? Okay, and it's time to put this Tasso in. Now, Tasso's a key ingredient. If you can't get Tasso, make some Tasso. Now, I was watching America's Test Kitchen recently, and they cooked some red beans and rice. And they said, have you ever seen Tasso at your grocery store? And she said, nope, I can't find it at my grocery store. And I'm thinking, well, these people need to move. But if you can't find Tasso, you can make some yourself. Now, what they did on that red beans and rice is they substituted bacon, but bacon is a poor substitute for Tasso. I would suggest if you can't get Tasso, get a real smoky ham, all right? Maybe even like a country ham or something, but something that's real smoky. and add more paprika and salt and paprika and pepper and maybe some cayenne and paprika to your dish. Because this Tasso's a heavily seasoned pork. It's actually pork butt meat, but it's smoked and heavily seasoned with a lot of paprika. And did I mention paprika? And salt and cayenne and other things. So anyway, it's going to give a good flavor to this jambalaya. Now, I'm going to put back in my pork. And that lid has, whoa. That lid has cooled enough where I could touch it. Because I didn't have it on the pot for very long anyway. And I'm going to continue to brown all this together. But it's all going to come back out again in a moment. All right, this meat has been going for quite some time, and now it's time to pull it back out of the pot. Now this is a plate I had the raw meat in, but while this was cooking, I went inside and washed it real well with hot soapy water, and so it is clean. But even if it wasn't, we're going to be putting the meat back in the jambalaya and cooking it some more, so it really doesn't matter, but it is definitely clean. Woo, it's getting hot, man. Let me set it on the table over here and get this up there. All right, now that we got all that delicious pork, tasso, and sausage all out of there, we're going to put in the most important part. Here is the Trinity. This is the Cajun Trinity. Now, those Texans think that the Texas Trinity is with barbecue, salt, pepper, and garlic. But Cajuns, almost all Cajun food, celery, bell pepper, and onions. Now, here's the ratio. 2 ribs of celery to 1, medium-sized onion and 1 medium-sized bell pepper. Now these, so I had 6 stalks of celery. I can't talk. 6 stalks of celery and 3 nice-sized bell peppers. And I had a, what did I do with my roux spatula? I'm gonna have to get it going using the spoon now. 3 stalks of celery, and I had 3 small onions. Now, usually I'll put green onions in this. I don't have any green onions with me today. So to make up for the small onions and the lack of green onions, I'll put in 1 other small onion. So it's 3 bell peppers, 4 small onions, 6 ribs of celery. And we want to get this browned, and then we want to get to pull all that fond over there. Let me go find my roux spoon. All right. Most of that time the lid was off, but I had the lid on some of the time. And you can see this is getting to brown. I want those onions to get caramelized real well. And it's picking up all that fond, which is going to help give it this good color. All right. And now that it's getting to brown and they're getting soft, now we add in the garlic, because the garlic's going to go with the boil when we put in the chicken stock and everything. And what this is 2 heads of garlic chopped up into small pieces, kind of rough chop. And that's okay, because garlic will fall apart when we boil it here. That little piece fell out, dead nabbit. Anyway, we'll start browning the garlic in with it. Do not put the garlic in with the Trinity, because it will it'll burn before you get it to this brown. All right. It's starting to cook. And we're still scraping that bottom off of there. That'll happen when we put in the chicken stock and all a little bit better. Guess what? Boy, it's like jumping in and jumping out of the pool. Time to get back in the pool, guys. Look at all that. Look at all that deliciousness there. A pork butt, 2.5 pounds of smoked sausage, Manda sausage too, out of that Baton Rouge. That's good stuff. And Tasso. Get off the sides there. Get back in there. Don't you jump out of the pool. All right, well, I made a mistake, like I told you, okay? I forgot to turn the camera on. So right after I put the meat back in there and stirred it all around with the Trinity and get it all mixed up, I added the liquid. Now, what I did is I added a 1/2 gallon of homemade chicken stock. You can use store-bought chicken broth if you want to, but a 1/2 gallon of that, and a gallon of water straight out of my tap, all right? And a gallon of water. Now, and then I added about 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces. That's about 2 to 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. And we pick up right there where I'm adding in the hot sauce. All right, now I added in the Worcestershire sauce. I don't know if you missed that or not, but anyway, I pronounce it Worcestershire. I added about an ounce of Worcestershire sauce, and nobody says New Hampshire. I don't say Worcestershire, I say Worcestershire. All right, I'm going in with the hot sauce. I usually use Tabasco when I'm making this at home. Crystal works well, especially when I'm making it with other people. I was given a lot of Texas Pete, so about an ounce of Texas Pete is going in here, all right? Right like that. And a little bit more, it's Texas Pete. All right, now, this is a key ingredient, all right? A lot of people, it's also a controversial ingredient. A lot of people say using browning sauce is cheating. You really got to get those onions browned. But I use about half of this bottle of browning sauce, and Kitchen Bouquet is another brand. And that's just gonna give a good color to the rice. I also think it gives a little bit of flavor too that I like. So, but too much of it is too much flavor. Now, we go in with some Cajun Creole seasoning, and this is a little more traditional. There's garlic, chili powder, all kind of things in here. And I'm running out of this, and I knew that I would. So, I've got some more of that Uncle Steve's about to go in here. Right here. Uncle Steve's spice here. And that's probably enough of the seasoning. Now we're gonna bring this to a boil. All right, it's been boiling a little while now, and the longer you let it boil, the more tender that pork meat will be. And I'll continue to stir it every so often. But now we're gonna put in the rice. Now this is 5 pounds of parboiled rice. If you're making a small jambalaya on your stovetop in your kitchen, like less than 2 gallons, use white rice. Stir it one time in like this, okay? And then cover it and bring it to a boil, and cover it and let it go 5 minutes and turn it off and let it wait. Don't stir it again after you stir it once. But if you're making a big jambalaya, I'd say 2 gallons or more, like I am here with this 5-gallon pot, keep stirring it once you got it in there. Get all those little good fine stuff up off the bottom. And once you've done that, what is that? That's a piece of garlic. Thought that was a piece of gristle. Anyway, once you've done that, bring it to a boil and continue to boil it for 5 minutes. Cover it up, turn it off, and let it sit for 25 minutes, and you're gonna have a good jambalaya. I guarantee it. All right, well, after you put the rice in, if you're using parboiled rice, and if you're making a big jambalaya, I suggest using parboiled rice. When I make one on my stove, I use white rice, and I stir it once, bring it to a boil, cover it, boil it 5 minutes, turn it off and let it sit 25 minutes, 30 minutes, you got your jambalaya. With the parboiled rice though, which you want to use if you're making a big jambalaya, I'd say over 2 gallons or so, you're going to want to use parboiled rice because you can stir that while it cooks and it doesn't come out gummy, all right? And so you can get all the meat and the flavors mixed up in there, and you need that when you're cooking it in a big pot, when you're doing a big batch of jambalaya. So I continued to stir, and the rice got thicker and thicker and thicker for about 5 minutes. And then I cut it off, put the top lid on it, and just let it sit. Went to my shower, grabbed it, threw it in the pickup truck, and we went to the church fellowship, where I played some cornhole and had a bunch of fun. About 17 guys there, and they ate quite a good bit of it. Here's what it looked like. All right, let's take a look at it. Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. Gonna come out just perfect. Yeah, thanks for watching Big Lou Barbecue. They ate a good bit of it, and then they, people could take seconds and take a plate home. So when I got home, I had about 2 gallons of that 5 gallons left, and I gave it away to some other people, and we ate on it a good bit for a few nights, and it was really, really good. Thanks for watching Big Lou Barbecue. That's how I make jambalaya. You've seen me do it before. Probably got more jambalaya videos on my show than I got anything else. And if you want to see them, they're in that Louisiana delicacy playlist that I'll have linked below. Thanks for watching Big Lou Barbecue.